All right, so if you're prepping for the IELTS, you know how crucial vocabulary is, right? But here's the thing. Using a word that's almost perfect can actually hurt your score. It's what I call the synonym trap. So in this explainer, we're going to break down 10 of the trickiest word pairs out there so you can get that precision you need to really crush it. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about what the synonym trap actually is. Then, we'll jump into 2 sets of confusing word pairs, and to wrap it all up, I'll show you how to master the nuance of any tricky word you come across. Sound good? Let's dive in. So, what exactly is this synonym trap I'm talking about? Well, it's that moment you pick a word that feels right, it's similar, but it's not quite the right one for that specific sentence. And on the IELTS, man, precision is everything. That one little slip up can completely change what you're trying to say, and it's a huge red flag to the examiner that maybe your vocabulary isn't as sharp as it needs to be. So let's just try a quick test. Look at these words. Are they really the same? You might think so, but that little bit of doubt, that hesitation, that's the synonym trap right there. It's that feeling of, am I using the absolute best word here? Okay, let's look at a classic example. Insure versus insure. They sound so alike, right? But they are totally different. You ensure that you study hard for the test. You're making it certain. But you insure your phone in case you drop it. That's all about financial protection. See the difference? It's a classic trap, but once you get it, you've got it for good. All right, you ready? Let's jump into our first set of 5 common culprits. Pay close attention to the examples. That's where it all clicks. Okay, first up, the big one. Affect versus effect. This trips up so many people. Here's the easiest way to remember it. Affect with an A is the action. It's the verb. The rain will affect our plans. Effect with an E is the end result. It's the noun. The effect of the rain was that we got wet. So just think A for action, E for end result. Simple as that. Next, we have complement and complement. Gosh, that one little vowel makes all the difference, doesn't it? Complement with an E means it completes something. Think of how a good wine complements a meal. Now, compliment with an I, well, that's something I would give you, like a piece of praise. Hey, you're doing a great job with this. See? It's all in that little vowel. Oh man, this next one gets even native speakers. Principle versus principle. So a principle, ending in PLE, is a rule or a core belief, like having strong moral principles. But principle, ending in PAL, means main or most important. And of course, it's also the head of a school. And here's the easy trick to remember it. The principal of the school can be your pal. Corny, I know, but it works. Okay, elicit and elicit. These sound nearly identical when you say them, but whoa, their meanings are totally different. To elicit with an E is to draw something out, like when a good question elicits a great answer from the class. But elicit with an I means illegal, forbidden. You definitely don't want to mix these two up. That can make for a very, very strange sentence. And to finish off our first group, let's talk about then and than. This one's a basic, but it's super important to get right. Then with an E is all about time. I went to the store, then I went home. Than with an A is for comparisons. She is taller than her brother. Nailing this one is a quick win that really shows you have a solid handle on grammar. Awesome job. We've just knocked out 5 tricky pairs. Now, let's move on to our second set and add 5 more tools to your vocabulary toolkit. Let's keep going. Okay, remember how we started with insure and insure? Well, let's bring in their third cousin, assure. This one is all about people. You assure someone to make them feel confident or remove their doubts. I assure you everything will be okay. So let's recap the family. You insure a result, you insure your property, and you assure a person. See how that little nuance makes such a big difference? Here's another classic noun versus verb mix-up, advice and advise. The trick here is in the spelling. Advice with a C is the noun. It's the thing you give someone. Think of it like a piece of ice. It's a thing. Advise with an S is the verb. It's the action of giving the recommendation. So, I can advise you to listen to my advice. All right, what about farther versus further? This one is actually super simple once you see the trick. Farther has the word far right in it. That's your clue. It's for physical, measurable distance. The gas station is 2 miles farther down the road. For everything else, like a more abstract or metaphorical distance, you use further. We need to investigate this further. Do you have any further questions? This next pair is all about your point of view, your direction. Emigrate and immigrate. Here's all you need to remember. Emigrate starts with E, like exit. You emigrate from a country. Immigrate starts with I, like coming in. You immigrate to a new country. So E for exit, I for N. That's it. So simple. And for our last pair, we've got among and between. The rule here is pretty straightforward most of the time. You use between when you're talking about two specific, separate things. I have to choose between the red shirt and the blue one. You use among when you're talking about something that's part of a group of 3 or more. There was one doctor among all the guests. So between for 2, among for a group. Got it? So there you have it, 10 really common word pairs that can cause trouble. But listen, just memorizing this list isn't the real goal. What happens when you're reading and you find a new pair that confuses you? What you really need is a strategy, a simple system you can use for any confusing words you ever come across. And here it is, a super simple 3-step strategy. Step 1, notice the nuance. The moment you see 2 similar words, stop and ask yourself, okay, what's the tiny difference here? Is it the spelling? Is it the meaning? Step 2, check the context. Don't just look up the definition. Find real sentences that use the word correctly. Context is everything. And finally, step 3, and this is the most important one, practice and repeat. You have to actually use the word in your own writing and speaking. That is the only way it's going to stick. Whew, we have covered a lot today. But, just watching this isn't enough. Knowledge only becomes power when you actually put it into practice. So I've got a question for you. Looking back at all 10 of those pairs, which one are you going to master first? Just pick one. Maybe it's affect and effect, or farther and further. Choose one, use it in a sentence today, and you'll be one step closer to nailing that IELTS score you're working so hard for.